What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. I want y'all to take a listen to something, and I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit.
You know, imagine I'm now set to fight Fury 3 months away, and then 2 weeks before the fight he pulls out. This is the type of character I'm dealing with. So what I'm just gonna bide my time. When he's ready, he knows where I am. I'm keen. I'm a straight shooter. I don't mess around. If he wants to fight, he knows I'll fight. He knows I'll fight him. And I say the longer he leaves it, the worse it is. So he wants to come to me now because I'm still developing and learning. So all I'm saying is that with everything I've seen going on with Fury, I've just known when he's ready, when he's settled and he knows exactly what he's doing, come and find me. Because I can't be chasing a man that's fighting Wilder, fighting Caballero, announcing he's fighting me twice this year. I just realised that let me just wait until he's ready and he'll know where I'm at.
All right, people, look. Of course, y'all know that was Anthony Joshua speaking about Tyson Fury and their supposed fight that's, supposedly happening on August 14th. I was asked about this the other day. I actually did a video and I scrapped it because I really just felt like it was really nothing to say different. And it's just, it really isn't, even now. But I've seen several videos of AJ where a couple of them he spoke about the situation with him fighting Fury, and he didn't really go into it too much. The one video where he was talking about how Fury is trying to get chiseled, and the one guy made a comment that was interviewing Anthony Joshua. He said, it irritates him. I'm paraphrasing, or bothers him or whatever when he hear and talk about he can drink 18 pints of beer and he still beat Anthony Joshua. He don't have to train for his fight and all that. And then the guy says he can clearly see, like, Fury's so thin you can see his cheekbones. He's looked slimmer than he's ever looked. And why is he, what's the whole point about all these games pretending that he's not interested in the fighting? Now, Fury diehard fans will sit here and say, oh, that's just Fury playing head games. He's trying to catch Anthony Joshua off guard so they can think that it's going to be an easy fight. And all these crazy nonsense excuses. Why should we have to use our imagination to try to understand what's going on? I'm certainly not. And basically, even in that when those comments that were made, and Anthony Joshua responded, even was saying how those guys want to be what I am. If Anthony Joshua has a six-pack and looks chiseled, he's a bodybuilder. If Tyson Fury does it and he's chiseled, right? There's a lot of jealousy in this world. It's no secret. You have people, I notice a lot of fighters that have said anything about Anthony Joshua's physique. Oh, too much muscle, even trainers and all that. You never heard them say this about Evander Holyfield. You never heard them say this about Ken Norton. You never heard them say this about James Thunder. You never heard them say this about Bruce Seldon. Guys who were big and like really sculpted. But with AJ, they're like, oh, it's the reason why he can't do this, he can't do that. Even though he's fighting with the muscle. Even to trim down, it's not like he's losing the muscle. He still looks the same, just not as heavy. And so even when he lost weight, to fight Pulev in the fight before that, people still, oh, I think he should have came out another 10, 15 pounds. Anthony Joshua's not meant to be a small guy. He'd probably be drained, dehydrated. It wouldn't be healthy for him. So the right weight that he has to fight at is not determined by people from the outside looking in and giving opinions. It's what he feels comfortable carrying. And it's a lot that goes into your training. You have to have that balance where you're not getting fatigued and punching yourself out. Even though people claim that's what happened in the fight with Pulev, even though I watched it and I didn't see him get punched out not one time, and I have no idea what these guys are talking about. So even when you have a comfortable lead and you take your foot off the gas a little bit, sometimes that happens. That happens often. But it's like anything Anthony Joshua does, it's a flaw. Oh, he was exposed. Look, Tyson Fury has said several times, the fight's on, the fight's off, the fight's on, the fight's off. Okay? 1 minute, there's no money there. There's no reason, there's no way the fight's going to happen. Whether it's his father, whether it's Frank Warren or him, they're all saying the same nonsense. Then all of a sudden, I'm going to knock him out. If I don't knock him out within 3 rounds, I'll retire from boxing. Oh, if this happens, that happens. Oh, Anthony Joshua, when I get in the ring with him, I'm going to do this and this. Following week, I think, hey, maybe me and Wilder get on again. And it's like, I don't even care. I don't care about the August 14th date. I don't care about all this. Oh, I'm 80% sure. I'm 85% sure. I'm 90% sure. I'm 100. I'm 110% sure. I don't care about all these broken promises. Now, you remember, you had all these guys jump on the channel in defense of Fury. Oh, anybody could clearly see what Fury's doing. I guarantee you, I'll bet my house. Remember, somebody put that in the comments. I'll bet my house. I will bet my house that Fury signs that contract by Tuesday. That's a month and a half ago. See how quiet they got? Huh? Huh? So I wonder if the guy who bet his house, I wonder if he's homeless now. Everybody, oh, Fury's just playing head against Fury. Well, where's the fight? See, my whole thing was, it's when you defend truth or logic, the person that has truth and logic on their side, you can take it how you want. Well, he's just defending Anthony Joshua, which I got the right to defend who I want to defend, but that's not even the case. It's more of, like I said, it's the logic. I take the words that come out of Fury's mouth and his actions the same way I do with Anthony Joshua or anyone else. And I even saw a video where just this past week where Tyson Fury was saying, if Anthony Joshua wants to fight me, he knows where I am. Like, AJ, I mean, look, Fury, it's like he's trying to make it seem like AJ is the one holding the fight up. To even say that, if he wants this fight, then he knows where to fight. You said you signed, which makes no sense. Why? Because he himself said he signed the contract to fight. We heard AJ sign. Now remember that. Both fighters have signed the contract, so what's the holdup? Why would you even feel the need to say, if he wants to fight me, he knows where to find me, if you both have signed to make this fight happen? You see, we keep hearing that it's signatures, it's this, it's that. It's everything other than the two fighters that's holding up the fight. Oh, first they didn't have the venue. Now they got a venue. They had a venue but no date. Now we got a date. Right? And everything you're hearing is piece by piece. You just had Canelo versus BJS. 70,000 people. But for some reason, this fight is so hard to put together. But yet, we're talking undisputed. And if you saw the interview with Radio Raheem, Tyson Fury was the whole week leading up to that fight. He was talking more about the fight than Billy Joe Saunders was. He was constantly in front of the camera talking, being himself, clowning around, wearing them shiny, bright colors and doing all of this stuff that he does. But then when he was asked about, Radio Raheem asked him a question about fighting, getting yourself up for that kind of fight and what it takes or whatever it may be, and the preparation. Fury responded by saying, I don't know what you're talking about. There is no fight. Then he says he's learned that when you say too much, you get in trouble, so I'm just going to leave it at that. There is no fight. And he says he doesn't train for any fights anymore. He trains just to stay in shape. And I'm listening to him and I'm saying, yeah, I can imagine, the people who sit here and worship this guy, sitting here and making, see, Fury even said this and Fury said that, because he said it, it's so. Common sense. I've been hearing about arbitration is holding the fight up. When is the last time you heard anything about arbitration? Y'all realize the only time that we hear anything about arbitration is when people are trying to find something to hold on to say, this is the reason this fight hasn't happened yet. Aside from LDBC channels or just diehard Wilder fans, you don't hear ever nothing about arbitration. What's the detail? So what's the verdict? All we hear is a bunch of he said, she said. Like I asked you guys before, how the hell would Blue Blood or Boxing Ego or any, how the hell would they know? How would any of us know what the verdict is, what the verdict is? But yet we've heard nothing from either camp. Eddie Hearn is on the outside looking in that situation because he's not team on Fury, so he would only know what they tell him. You think Eddie Hearn would have made the announcement to make this fight happen, knowing ahead of time that he has a legal situation with Fury, and that's causing him to not be able to go and fight? You heard Mauricio Suleiman say several times that Fury and Wilder both, neither one of them are obligated. They can go fight whoever they want. Remember, when Tyson Fury was said he had a date set for December the 5th, he was trying to find an opponent. Remember the tweet that Wilder put out saying, oh, I'm so disappointed. I thought we was going to get it on the third time or something to that effect, right? And then he also said he's moved on from Coward Fury. Remember that. He's looking for an opponent. Remember. So if it was about arbitration, why would Wilder be talking about fighting somebody else? If that's the case, Wilder would have been saying, you know what? My focus is this guy. We got a situation going on right now, and we trying to get this fight. We trying to force him to fight because he's scared to fight me. Why wouldn't he say something to that effect? Why would he sit there and say he want to fight somebody else? He's moved on. Then you got Bob Arum, who said Wilder doesn't have a leg to stand on. Nobody's giving him any money. He's not going to win this case. I know a thing or two about law. I am a lawyer, Then Bob Arum turns around, last month, and says we may have to pay Wilder a ton of money. But then at the same time, you got people talking about step aside money, That has nothing to do with step aside money. He's talking about damages, physical damages. Where this 80 million came from, I don't know. I do remember Derek Chisora saying, if I was Wilder, I'd ask for 80 million. So I don't know if that sparked something in these LDBC channel guys' heads and they just decided to run with that, because Blue Blood was the one I heard mention this 80 million. Have you heard anything about arbitration? Any details? Any this happened, that happened? Nothing. No. Why? Because it's bull crap. And like I said, why would it be so hard for a 30-something-year-old grown man to just say, look, I want to fight with Anthony Joshua for undisputed. Right now, I got a legal situation with Wilder. I can't speak on it right now, but we got to see how things go. So I can't legally speak on it, but we'll see what things go. But that's the fight that I want. If I got to do it again with Wilder, so be it. But right now, I can't even speak on it. Why is that so hard to say? Just like I said, a month and a half ago, or whatever it was, 2 months, a month and a half ago, you hear AJ pretty much now saying the same exact thing that I was saying. 1 minute he's fighting AJ, the next minute he's fighting Wilder. Then I want to fight somebody. I don't care who. I just want to fight somebody. I want 2 fights. His father said the same thing. Frank Warren said the same thing. Bro, this is undisputed. You talk about you want to fight somebody. You don't care who. You just want to fight somebody. No, you do care. Because AJ wants to fight you. And that's the fight that you're avoiding. I don't think Tyson Fury want that smoke, just like I said. He said he wanted 2 fights. And it's like his mind is set on he wants 2 fights. Whether it's a financial thing, just to make some extra bread, beating up some meatballs. Otherwise, when you say, I don't care who, no, you do care. Otherwise, you specifically say somebody's name. But what sense would it make for you to say you want to fight somebody else other than the undisputed champion? It's not like you're saying, okay, you know what? Let me shut Dylan White's mouth. You know what? Since nothing's going on between these guys, it looks like Usyk and Joe Joyce, their situation depends on if me and AJ happens or not. Let me go fight Joe Joyce. No, you're not saying that. We're not stupid. When you say I want to fight somebody, look, First off, you're not talking about Andy Ruiz or Joseph Parker. You're not talking about one of the other top elite guys. You're talking about two meatballs getting in. Okay. Then do you fight AJ? But we know damn well you're not talking about a worthy opponent. I mean, hell, even rematch Aldo Wallin if that's the case. You're not saying anybody's name. Just, I want to fight somebody. I don't care who, just somebody. What sense does that make when you're already in negotiations with AJ? This whole situation has just been a big soap opera, a lot of talk. And this is what I'm finding. I'm finding that Tyson Fury is just saying things just to stir up the pot, to get people to try to, just to get attention. Because he's showing no interest in fighting AJ. 1 minute, like I said, he's going to smack AJ around. The next minute, there's no fight. There's no reason to fight. There's no money there. Yada, yada. The next minute, he's fighting. I mean, it's like you're on, it's on, it's on, it's off. It's on, it's off. You're fighting, you're not fighting. And we're back to this again. So, like AJ said, I can't chase a guy who's fighting wild and then he's fighting this other guy. Like, you know, when he's ready, he knows I'll fight him. This is from day one. Do you hear AJ talking about fighting Usyk? Who's his mandatory? Do you hear him talk about fighting anybody else? No. The only fight you hear him talk about when he's asked about any of this is Tyson Fury. Fury's the one all over the place. I mean, 1 minute, you're never fighting Wilder again because Wilder, you know, the insults that he made about the gypsies. Then the next minute, you might fight him again. You're never fighting the UK again. Next minute, you might fight in the UK again. You're focused on AJ, then you pop up in the WWE. I mean, like, what is it, bro? So all of this is because of what? If you really, 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 really want to fight for undisputed against Anthony Joshua, your energy is completely different. And I've been watching fights and been a part of shit my whole life, okay? I've been around long enough to see this to know when somebody's not really into this shit, man. And bottom line is, if he came out and said, look, man, I want 2 soft touches before I fight AJ, well, he'd be the laughing stock, and he knows that. You guys think about it. I want to fight somebody. I don't care who. Anybody. I just want to fight somebody. When you're already in negotiations to fight for undisputed. How in the hell does that make any sense to any of y'all? Yeah, you do want to fight somebody. And like you said, somebody. Somebody. No specifics. You want a meatball. You want 2 meatballs. Does he ever settle down and fight Anthony Joshua? We don't know. Again, all of the people that know everything. Remember, see, Aries is not, oh, I know everything about everybody. No. You all knew exactly what Tyson Fury was doing. Remember that? Oh, anybody can clearly see what he's doing. Right. A whole month and a half later, right. Yeah, right. But the contract was supposed to be signed already, right? And then he himself said he gave him 2 more weeks and all this. Yeah, he and Eddie Hearn, we were talking about, well, damn, what are you and your promoter doing? Sitting back, letting Eddie Hearn put everything together? And then yet, here's the crazy part, right? Anthony Joshua clearly said, 50-50, let's split it down the middle. No, just, I don't care. 50-50. Whoa, what other fighter you know do stuff like that? So 50-50, you're not even earning your keep now in terms of even trying to make the fight happen. Sitting back, letting Team AJ do everything. Here's my take on this whole thing, man. To me, it just seems, like I said, it seems like he's trying to make it look like AJ is the one holding up the fight. And all he has to do is say something like, oh, if AJ wants to fight me, he knows how to find me. Then, I mean, what more does AJ have to do? You guys both signed the fight. He said 50-50. That was his idea. Not Eddie Hearn's. Not yours. Not your promoter. That was AJ's idea. 50-50. What more do you want? You know, how's he going to fight somebody that don't want to fight him? You guys got to understand, I don't care how much you like a fighter. Their actions is what I go by. I'm not going by what another channel said, what some reporter said. No, the words and actions of Tyson Fury, the words and actions of Anthony Joshua. That's what I go by. If Anthony Joshua was talking about fighting Usyk or fighting any other fighter, the same exact things I'm saying right now, everybody else would be going, yeah, man, that's true. He should be focused on Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's not focused on Anthony Joshua. This would be my easiest fight. He's an easier fight than Wilder. So wait a minute. So this is for Undisputed. This is going to be the easiest fight you ever had, according to you. But instead of making that $75 million, because they said 150, they're going to split it 50-50, right? So instead of making that $75 million and going over here and destroying Anthony Joshua like you're telling everybody you're going to do, you're going to fight for a whole lot less against some meatball. But yet, we can't get a straight answer as to why are you being so elusive to this fight with Anthony Joshua. His father, his promoter, they all walk on eggshells when they're talking about this situation. Trying to be careful what they say, and then they say something completely different. They've all showed no interest, then all of a sudden it looks like they have a little interest, then they don't have interest, then they do, then they don't. It's just the same roller coaster ride. And we already know how Bob Arum feels about this fight. That's no secret. From a long time ago, we know that he doesn't care for this fight. And at the same time, all this nonsense that they're trying to talk like AJ's not a formidable opponent. Well, we know some years ago that AJ smacked you around, right? And AJ's a better fighter now than he was then, right? Came out of your mouth that he smacked you around pretty good. Well, here's what I say. I don't care about all the talking. I don't care about all the threats. I don't care about all the I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like I always say, all I care about is the fight. And if you are not ready to get in there and fight Anthony Joshua and your actions show that you're not, then it's best to just be humble and not say anything. Because all you're basically doing is talking and talking and talking. Aries have gotten to the point where I'm truly just like, man, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And the person that asked me about this fight the other day was like, yeah, man, you know what you think about Fury? You know all this stuff he's saying, he's not doing anything. And the fact that AJ said, let's talk more action. That's exactly how I feel. You know, but I wanted to just play that clip from AJ and let you guys hear. You guys know I've been saying this for months now. Where's the fight? Where's the interest, man? I mean, that's like somebody offering you a job saying, hey, man, look, we're paying you $45 an hour over here. This job over here is paying you $15. Really? I mean, there could be some things that may make you turn that $45 an hour down. It would have to be something where the money's just not worth it. The work and the money, something. It would have to be something in. But I mean, overall, like just the fact of 2 jobs are hiring and one is paying $45, and hey, I like the hours here. Everything here is the same hours, same schedule. But guess what? This one is $45 an hour. Is that hard to make that decision? Here you are, the cash cow of the heavyweight division, hold every major title except for one. And that one guy is being elusive. But people want to make excuses and try to say it's something other than what it is. And being that they can't make a actual reason that makes sense. Everybody, I keep hearing this arbitration nonsense. Notice, we don't hear nothing about this on any major network. We don't hear about it on no actual YouTube channels other than LDBC and Wilder Diehards, because they're the ones crossing their fingers hoping that it's true and that it's going to be a third fight, or he's just going to get paid $80 million for step aside money. I said it once and I'll say it again. Deontay Wilder's probably having his whole career, every fight he had, he probably having total $80 million. Who in the hell is going to pay him $80 million to step aside? If they will pay him $80 million to step aside, what in the hell would they pay him to actually fight somebody? Step aside money, the most you might get is like $3 million. And that depends on who you are. And who the person is that's paying you to step aside. You're not getting no damn $80 million. That's completely stupid. that you even believe that nonsense. And trust me, if he got $80 million out of these guys, it has nothing to do with no step aside money. At the end of the day, this is just a fight where I really feel like they should just go ahead and move on, man. I just think AJ should end up fighting Usyk. You know, let Fury, Fury, see, here's my thing. See, if Fury turned down a fight or he's just not showing interest, he has a risk to take by fighting somebody like Dillian White. You know, or Joe Joyce or Usyk. It's a risk there, right? It's a risk. Why would you go do that before? No, you don't want to. That's not a tune-up. You want to tune up before you fight for before you fight for undisputed. If anything, he's not trying to. We know he's not going to go out there and try to fight a top guy. We know that. So what's the purpose of jumping in there with these guys for what? Why would you jump in there with these guys who shouldn't even be in the ring with you? Just then, what do you prove? To me, I don't think his confidence is there. You know. The same excuse they made for Andy Ruiz for his bad performance. What's going to happen if AJ gets in there and he smashes Tyson Fury and he starts talking about it was ring rust, he hadn't been in the ring in a whole year, over a year, yada yada yada. That's why he wanted the tune-up fights. That's what he'd be saying. That's why now you notice he's not saying tune-up. He's just saying he want to fight. He don't care who, no, you want to fight somebody, but it's not a top guy. Okay, because if it's a top guy, then it should be a fight that has build-up to it. But what sense would that make that you're not going to fight for undisputed, but you're going to fight another top guy? For what? Just to defend your WBC title? So, no, we know that if he does fight somebody, it's not going to be somebody that's even noteworthy. In all honesty, I've lost interest in it. And like I said, I feel like, I'd rather just see AJ go ahead and fight Usyk. Go fight your mandatory, beat him. Tyson Fury want to go and fight cherry picks. And then I guess when he's ready to actually get in the ring, like AJ said, then he'll start talking trash more and acting like, people see, fanboys are easy to manipulate. You can tell them anything. Tyson Fury could tell his fanboys, yo, when I fart, it smells like bacon and cheddar cheese. Then it just starts smelling like cherries. They'll believe that shit. They'll believe it. This is what people do. They tell you one thing, they do something else, and you make excuses for them. Everybody that's talking about August 14th and crossing their fingers and hoping, what is that going to do for you? And they, yeah, man, that's what I want to hear. That's what I'm talking about. August 14th, yeah. Okay. My thing is, when we hear the fight's on August 14th and we start seeing promotions for the fight, then we'll know. Other than that, that's a fight that just, honestly, I got irritated just listening to I haven't, AJ's not the one doing all the talking. I just got irritated listening to all these threats and nonsense and clowning and tough talk, but not fighting anybody. That's like somebody sitting in the room by themselves with nobody around going, what? Who you talking to? I'd knock you out. What? Who you talking to? What? What? No, who are you talking to? There's nobody in the room with you. Who are you threatening? That's how I feel when they're making all these threats and tough talking about what they'll do. Anyway, look. I'm about to, post another video I did, and I'm going to be talking about Canelo and Demetrius Andre and Jamal Charlo. It's going to be an interesting video. I'm getting at these guys. I'm bringing up these situations where these fights that's not happening, and people are trying to overlook the reality. Okay, that video is not going to be as long as this one, but at the same time, I just got something I just want to say and get off my chest, because it's like, people always say one thing about one fighter, criticize them, but they happen to like another fighter that's doing the same exact thing or actually doing worse than what they're criticizing the one fighter about. And the hypocrisy is so strong that it's like this is what controls people's way of thinking. If it doesn't make sense, let's try to make it, more than just a formality of something. Let's just, boom, this is what it is. And everybody starts walking around repeating it because It's just the cool thing to hate certain people. It's the cool thing to want to, you know, look, man, you guys really need to understand. If somebody really wants something, remember, this is the same heavyweight that stood across the ring from Deontay Wilder. And when Deontay Wilder said, you see, when people really want to fight, when the best really want to fight the best, it's easy to make the fights. Right. And what did Fury say? Absolutely. Right. So why is it so hard for you to make this fight with AJ? And I believe that all this is wait. I believe the reason why Eddie Hearn won't just go full blast and just say what he really want to say, because I know damn well, you know, behind closed doors, he's this fucking guy holding the fight up. I'm pretty sure behind closed doors the conversation is different. And I feel like if he goes out and just says what he really want to say, Team Fury will have no problem with saying, man, fuck y'all, and walk away. He has no problem doing that. He's already said, I've already been undisputed, so titles doesn't make me. I don't need the belt. I've already been undisputed champion. So everything that AJ's trying to do now, I've done it already. So I don't need the belt. I'm the people's champion and all this. I'm the lineal champion, right? That's what he said. Okay. Well, why do you keep opening your mouth talking about what you're going to do to AJ and how AJ will be your easiest fight and all this other dumb shit that you're saying? What's the purpose? Why even talk about it then? So, if and when he's ready to fight AJ, you know, I'm certainly not going to put my life on hold to sit back holding my breath, waiting, hoping two other guys, you know, get in the ring and fight. But as far as I'm concerned, Tyson Fury is not ready to get in the ring and fight AJ right now. For what, like I said, I don't know if he's afraid of ring rust or whatever it may be, or for whatever reason, he's just so set on wanting to get these two fights with these two meatballs in, because he always does that. He has a resume full of meatballs. He does that. We know Fury can fight, but let's just be real. He'll have two soft touches like he did before he fought Wilder. He had two soft touches. We understand he wasn't in the ring for a while, but same thing. In between, what do you think he's going to do? He's not going to fight a top guy. Like I said, to say I want to fight somebody, I don't care who, anybody, just somebody. I'll tell you what, for all you that have a wife, for all you that got a man, you know, got a woman, whether you married or not, but I tell you what, let your woman ask you, do you love me? Or how much do you love me? And you say, oh, I love everybody. Let's see if you don't be on the couch with a blanket by yourself tonight. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all on the next video.